Welcome, my friends. My question for you today might seem a bit strange, but we're going to dive in anyway. Were you brought up to resent people, places, things? Not in a cruel or obvious way, but in the quiet comments that you heard, in a disappointed tone, in looks that passed across the dinner table when someone did something differently? Maybe someone in your life chose something bold, something freeing. Instead of celebrating them, you were taught to judge them. Now, this is something that I've been looking at in my own life in the last week, watching where I get angry at something, where I had an expectation for somebody to just read my mind, or where I asked them to do something and I wanted them to know me better than I knew myself and come up with resolutions. You see, when we resent what somebody else does, it's because deep down we're holding ourselves back from truly being who we truly be. Now, we don't talk enough about the resentment that grows from disappointment, from unmet expectations, from watching someone take that leap that we've been too scared to take ourselves. Maybe they walked away from a job, or somebody you knew changed careers, or maybe they moved to Italy or came out and claimed something about themselves that they'd been hiding. And instead of inspiration, you felt unsettled. You felt resentment. You should have known this, or maybe even angry. Like they were breaking some sacred rule you didn't even realize that you were holding on to. Here's what I've learned, both in my life and in coaching hundreds of women through the thick of this kind of transformation. Resentment is often a mirror. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Resentment is often a mirror. It shows us not what's wrong with the other person, but what's unresolved within ourselves. And when we don't pause to question it, it turns into a prison. We start to think, how dare they do that? Or what does she think she is? Or who does she think she is? Or why didn't they know this? But the deeper question underneath all of this is, why can't I? So I want you to invite a check-in today, not with blame, not with shame, but with curiosity. When in your life are you holding on to resentment? Where in your life are you holding on to resentment? Is there anybody that you're holding in the negative and resenting them and sticking a story onto them because they chose a different path, because they didn't meet your expectations? Where have you made somebody else wrong for growing in a way you haven't yet let yourself grow? It's not about beating yourself up. It's about reclaiming your energy. It's about recognizing that resentment is a form of grief. Yeah, for the version of yourself that you haven't given yourself permission to be. For the version of yourself you haven't yet given yourself permission to be. You see, you can't move forward if your energy is tied up in someone else's choices. And you can't step into that next chapter in midlife if you're still stuck trying to rewrite a story that's just a story. It has nothing to do with you living in the present right now. The moment you name it, the moment you see it, things begin to shift. I know it did for me this week. So stop making anyone or anything a villain in your story and start asking, what would it take for me to make a bold move where my freedom lives? What does that look like? What is it that I need? What is it that I require? And am I willing to give that to myself? So if you've been feeling stuck, bitter, confused, a little frustrated, start here. Ask yourself, what expectation am I willing to release? Am I ready to release? And what belief no longer fits who I am becoming? This week, I'm inviting you to notice when resentment flares up. Instead of pushing it down, get curious. Use it as a guide, because it might just be showing you what your next bold move is waiting for you to create. And if this stirred something from you, I'd love to hear about it. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, pop a comment below. Or if you're watching this on our private Facebook group, Over 50 Fabulous and Thriving, pop it in the comments, because you know I check in every day. Share this with someone you trust. Let's talk about it, because this is how we grow, one bold truth about ourselves at a time. Let it go, let it flow. Yeah. Till we meet again, live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. One that's willing to say, hey, this actually doesn't work for me, by tapping in to whatever it is, whatever emotion that's holding you back and holding you down. Share it in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what's changing for you. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye. Hey, and if you love this, share it. Watching it on YouTube, press share and like. And again, share this with a friend. Who knows what you're going to be changing and what conversations you're going to be instilling in the conversation of creating a life you love.